Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Capital City Baptist Church. Our reading today is found in Matthew chapter 6, verse 3, and it reads like this. But when thou doest alms, let not thy hand, or in other words, thy left hand, know what thy right hand doeth. In my lifetime, I've had the privilege of meeting many parents, some married and some single. In just about every case, the parent or parents dearly love their child or children and would do just about anything for him or her. And as I saw these children grow, I also saw an interesting phenomenon take place with not all but some parents versus others. The practice of subtle, or in some cases not so subtle, bragging about their children's achievements and accomplishments to include, but certainly not limited to, academic grades, awards, sports, abilities, and so forth. When I served as a principal or administrator of a Christian school, I would hear parents continuously brag about their children, just about anyone who would listen. At times, the bragging would get so annoying that I would just do everything I could to get away from that parent or parents. So, at this point, we might ask, why do people dislike those who brag and boast? Why does it bother us? Well, a certain article I read stated that people dislike braggers and boasters because they perceive them as being self centered. It comes off as sounding arrogant or being a show off. And frankly, it's annoying. Now, stop for a moment. Think of that one person or persons who continuously would brag or brags or boast about something, someone or someone's, to the point that you just have one desire, and that is just to tell them, just stop. Anyway, sadly, some of God's people can often be like that as well. Instead of being an example of a person with a humble heart that represents the Lord, they act as if bragging and boasting would be actually a good thing. A hard example? Well, this might be a little off the wall, but how about this? Folks who feel that they own their church. Well, I've been supporting this church for X amount of years. Nothing gets approved without my say so. Is that possible? In my years of experience, regrettably, it is. And how about some who like to pull out unofficial rank because of membership tenure? I personally thank the Lord for the years that I've had the privilege of serving in a church. And the longest I ever was in a church was the one I served in San Francisco. Over 30 years. That's a long time. But what does that mean in terms of God and His church? A blessing? Oh, absolutely. But a right to dictate and demand personal will and preference? Absolutely not. It was never any of us who gave his or her life for the church. Paul, who did lose his life for the gospel, clearly stated in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 5 through 9 these words. Who is Apollos? Or for that matter, my own words, by the way, there. But who is Paul? They are servants, he continued to say, who helped you come to faith. Each did what the Lord gave him to do. I planted, Apollos watered, but God made it grow. So neither the one who plants nor the one who waters is important, but only God who makes it grow. The one who plants and the one who waters have the same goal, and each will receive a reward for his work. We are God's co-workers. You are God's field. You are God's building. Now here's a question. Do we with age and commitment to his church become owners or time-sharers of his church? Brothers and sisters, let us not elevate ourselves to positions that are non-existent. Let us instead embrace and cherish servanthood, for it was the example that our Lord gave us of himself while on this earth. And lest we forget, the Lord likes to, well, in fact, he orders us to let him be the one to elevate us and not we ourselves. Let us do all things to his glory, for the growth of his kingdom, which incidentally leaves no room for building one for ourselves. May we truly follow his mandate of when we do our alms, in other words, when thou doest alms, let not thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth. Let us not be boastful of anything which we know full well the Lord detests, and instead be grateful and humble, knowing that all which is good and righteous came from him and through him. May God bless you. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you on Sunday if the Lord wills.